Carrie was saved by Stephen King's wife, launching his career. Stephen King threw his first novel away. It was the one that made him a best-selling author, but King didn't like it. It was his wife Tabitha who retrieved the manuscript. She had to force her husband to finish and publish it. This unlikely story began in 1973. Stephen was just 26, and Tabby, his wife of 2 years, was 24. They lived in a trailer. Tabby worked at Dunkin' Donuts. Stephen taught English at a nearby high school. The young couple was always short on money. They had 2 little kids and few prospects. Stephen worked summers at an industrial laundry. He moonlighted as a janitor and gas pump attendant. He already had plenty of story ideas. What he didn't have was time to actually write. Stephen couldn't even afford his own typewriter. He had to use Tabby's college Olivetti. She set up a makeshift desk for him in the laundry room. Every night, Stephen would lock himself in there and try to write. He mostly hammered out short stories. They were occasionally published in men's magazines. Every check was a blessing, keeping the family afloat. Then the head of the school's English department made King an offer. The debate club needed a new faculty advisor. The job would pay an extra $300 per year. Stephen shared the good news with Tabby.
Will you have time to write?
She asked.
Not much,
He admitted.
Well, then you can't take it.
Tabby said. Stephen turned down the job. Within a year, he had a draft of a novel sitting in his desk drawer. It was about a schoolgirl with telekinetic powers. King hated it. He knew nothing about schoolgirls. What started out as a short story had ballooned into a novella. So Stephen said screw it and threw the draft away. The next day, Tabby went to empty the trash in the laundry room. She found crinkled balls of paper in the bin. She fished them out and read them. When Stephen came home from work, she still had them.
You've got something here.
She said.
but I don't know the first thing about girls.
He said.
I do.
Tabby said.
I'll help you.
9 months later, King polished off the final draft. The novel was called Carrie. 30 publishers rejected it. This only confirmed King's suspicions that it was no good. One day, Tabby called Stephen at school. They'd had their phone disconnected. To save money, Tabby had to go to their neighbor's house to make the call. Stephen was worried, but then she told him the news. Doubleday had agreed to publish Carrie. They offered a $2,500 advance. It was the most money King had ever made from writing. He used it to buy a Ford Pinto and move his family out of a trailer. Carrie only sold 13,000 copies as a hardback. Soon, the royalties dried up. Then King's editor called. They had a phone by then.
Are you sitting down?
He asked.
The paperback rights to Carrie went to Signet Books for $400,000. $200,000 of it's yours.
King's legs wobbled and gave out. Carrie sold over 1 million copies in its first paperback printing, and in 1975, Brian De Palma turned it into a movie. Stephen King was on his way to becoming a household name. Almost 5 decades later, he's worth $500 million. King still thinks Carrie is a weak novel, but he's grateful to it for jump-starting his career. And of course, he's grateful to his wife. The novel's dedication reads,
This is for Tabby, who got me into it and then bailed me out of it.